All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's a great day, October and fall, and no more cold here in Texas. It's great weather. Thank you so much for joining our presentation. So today we are going to be talking about if you have a special needs loved one, a family member, how can we get them to college? It's a very great presentation, college planning for special needs. And we have Michelle Morris with us today from Consolidated Planning Group. But before we start with her, I'm going to talk a little bit about our agency, Partners Resource Network. My name is Veronica Perez, and I'm the Regional 13 Coordinator for Partner Resource Network. So we are the Parent Training and Information Centers for Texas, and we are funded by the Department of Education, specifically the Office of Special Education, to provide free resources and trainings for parents with children with disabilities and youth with disabilities that we call them self-advocates. Our mission is to empower and support Texas families and individuals impacted by disabilities or special healthcare needs. Who we serve, as I mentioned, parents of children with disabilities, youth with disabilities, from the ages from birth to 26 years old, where we serve in all the state of Texas. Now we have 4 projects serving parents. Myself, I'm part of the team project. As you can see in the map, I'm in the red area. I'm in Austin. I serve the parents in Region 13. Another region that is part of the team project is San Antonio area, that's Region 20, and Region 1, the Rio Grande Valley. But if you are here from another area like Dallas, that you are part of the PAC project, or Houston, that's the PAT project, or another area, and you don't know your regional coordinator, please type it in the chat box and I can put you in contact with the person that is near to you and can help you more one-on-one kind of thing. Our services are free, and we offer parent workshops, youth workshops, webinars, information and referral, one-on-one technical assistant. We do a lot of support in our meetings, or if you need an IEP clinic to review your IEP documents, that's our major thing that we do here in Partner Research Network. And once a year, each coordinator, we do a symposium, a big one with a lot of speakers. And now that we are going back to doing everything in person, guys. So reach to the regional coordinator if you want to attend one of those. We also do parent leadership training, youth leadership training, and help you access the social media resources. So for today, like I mentioned, your camera and your audio is off. If you have a question, please type it in the chat box, and we are going to help you in going through those questions. The many we can do that. Also, we are recording this presentation. We usually post our videos in our Facebook page. You can see there our link to our Facebook. We are going to send an email with the handouts, with the presentation, and with the links for that. Also, Consolidated Planning Group, they have a YouTube channel, and Michelle is going to talk more about that. At the end of this presentation, you are going to receive a link with an evaluation. It's a survey. It's like 3 questions. It's very quick. Please help us with that. Put your honest feedback so we can improve. And also with that, we can report to our grant and continue to give you guys free resources and trainings and webinars like this. We do not provide CEUs, but we can do a certificate of attendance. If you need one, type it in the chat box and I can make one for you. So this is my contact information. I already put it in the chat box, my phone number and email, and please visit our main webpage at www.prntexas.org. This is more information about our project, our emails, and this is the regional coordinators for team project. Maria and Rosie, they are in Region 1. Maria is in Edinburgh, Rosie is in Laredo, And we have Aubrey Simpson in San Antonio and myself, I'm in Austin. And this is our project director and her information. We have an office now here in Austin. That's very new. We have a year with that office also if you want to see us in person. So that's for me. I'm going to stop my sharing. And now we have Michelle, that she's our speaker today, and she's a financial planner, and she has a lot of experience working with special needs families, and she worked for Consolidated Planning Group. So welcome, Michelle.
Thank you so much. And thank you everybody for being here and, helping out. And Veronica, of course, your webinars are always fantastic. We truly appreciate you being here. As she said, we cannot hear you or see you because we're in webinar mode. And it would be best if you have any questions or comments to please put them in the chat box. I can kind of monitor the chat as I'm going. And if I'm seemingly ignoring your questions, I promise it just means I'm about to get to it, or I'm trying to keep us on track time-wise. We have until 1 o'clock today. This webinar is being recorded, and later on today, everybody who registered, we will email you a link to the recording as well as the slides. There are so many clickable links in this particular webinar. The slides are going to be very important to you. And I hope that you enjoy the information that we're able to provide. So I hope you registered with your correct email address. If not, you can reach out to us, contact@cpgcaresnet. Just say, oops, I accidentally put the wrong email address. Can you please send it here instead? And we'll take care of you. Also, if you're listening on our podcast, that email address again is contact@cpgcares.net, and you can get a copy of these slides for yourself. So I'm with Consolidated Planning Group. We are located just outside of Houston in the Sugar Land area. We're financial advisors that focus on helping families with special needs loved ones. The reason that we aim to educate and advocate for families is because the owner of our company has 2 special needs kids, and she's been a financial advisor for years and years and years. But when her kids got to this transition time, or they were, in high school, she realized how difficult everything is and how much information is out there. And she said, if we could streamline this and make it more, if we could make it easier for families to get everything done that they need to do and know what they need to know, then they won't have to go through the troubles that she went through. So that's why we're here for you. People come to us for things like protection plans, like insurance for their families, lifetime care plans, understanding the cost of a lifetime of care. It's like a third retirement that you have to plan for, yours, and if you're married, then your spouse's retirement, and now you have a child who might need care for the rest of their life. It can be quite expensive. We help with transition planning and ABLE accounts, like I said, of course, advocacy and education. There are over 263,000 financial advisors across the United States. And out of those 263,000, there are fewer than 200 who focus on special needs planning like we do. That's less than 0.1%. So you are definitely in the right place when you're listening to our webinars. Hopefully you've been to some of them before, or will come to more in the future. Like I said, through the magic of the internet, we are able to work all across Texas and all across the United States, even though we're based here in Houston. We have over 30 years of experience in financial planning and insurance and securities, things like that. We are members of the $1 Million Roundtable, which just means that a lot of people have trusted us with their financial futures. We are fully licensed. We are members of the Special Needs Planning Academy, And we are National Social Security advisors. So we really take this seriously. We go above and beyond for our clients as much as we possibly can. And like I said, we are here for you. So when we are thinking about what happens after high school for our loved ones, we want you to have realistic expectations and don't compare your child to other children. First of all kids are different. I compare it to my favorite food, popcorn. Like I said, I've got a bowl of popcorn right here with me right now. I cook my popcorn on the stovetop because that's the way I like it the best. I have one pan, I put the oil in on one burner. It's all heating at the same time, at the same temperature. I pour those kernels in and put the lid on, of course, and they never pop all at the same time. And this is like our children. They never arrive all at the same time. There's some that are a little bit early, and then it's kind of like a bell curve. Some are a little bit early, and then the majority pop kind of in the middle time frame. And there's some late bloomers that don't pop until the end. And some of those kernels never pop at all. And that's okay. We don't blame them. We don't compare them to the other popcorn kernels and say, why can't you be more like this one? Just keep an open mind with your children. Don't compare them. Everybody just puts the best days on Facebook. They don't talk about those days when the wheels are off the bus and there's a meltdown happening and all of this stuff. So don't compare. They are where they are. So when you're thinking about college, maybe a traditional 4-year path or 6-year, or going to stay on campus, it's just not in the cards for you and your children, and that is okay. There are plenty of other options out there if a traditional college career is not going to be right for your kids. Thank you, Jerry. So what about transition programs? There, you might want to consider that. We'll talk about some of those. There are plenty of trade schools and community colleges, and there does not need to be a stigma about a child who goes to a trade school. We need trades. My son is in aircraft mechanic school right now, and he's loving it. But we also need plumbers and welders and electricians. There's nothing wrong with that. We need mechanics and every aspect of life. Maybe a university degree program would be fine for your student. Maybe just a certificate program or a license program where they just take a few courses and get a license in something. Maybe they do want to go to college, but just take 1 or 2 classes to kind of test the waters. They can live at home or on campus. They can partner with some organizations to help them live on campus. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Oh, I see a question came into the Q&A or a comment. If you could please put that in the chat box, then I can see it pop right up on my screen.
It says, can we access to the links? You already said that the links are going to be in our email, right?
Yes. And I get to that when I start talking about the links. You will get these slides in your email later on today, and all of these links will be clickable for you. And like I said, there's going to be a lot, so you'll get those later on today. Texas Workforce Commission has a great program, their vocational rehab program. We'll talk about that. Think about the career path and the work setting that your child is considering. Maybe your child is someone who thrives in a quiet situation. They can't have a lot of noise around them. They cannot have a lot of chaos. And they start talking to you about wanting to go into a career where they work in a factory. Well, there's going to be a lot of noise and a lot of chaos and not a lot of quiet time. So maybe those two things don't really go together, or maybe it's the opposite. They want the excitement. They can't sit still. They can't sit in a cubicle, and they say they wanted to go into a job in banking. Well, you have to find what they want to do and make sure that the work setting is going to be appropriate for them, and maybe, talk to them about those expectations. There is a great website you can click on here. The Department of Labor has registered apprenticeships that you can consider. And then Project Search also offers a lot of great help in terms of workplace readiness. And like I said, these links are clickable. And as we go through this webinar, I spent a lot of time trying to make sure that every single link works. But, I'm not perfect. Nobody is. So if you're going through this later on today or whenever you get around to it, if you find a link that does not work, please send me a message and let me know, and I'll fix it for next time. Okay. So there was a study done talking about 6 traits that students need to succeed. And this is all students, but these are things that you can be working on with your children, getting them ready to go to whatever is after high school. So think about self-awareness. And these aren't necessarily things that they're teaching in high school, so you have to maybe focus on these things a little bit more at home. Think about helping your student understand their own strengths and weaknesses, both academic and non-academic, so they can look out for ways that are going to help them be successful, things that they can do to protect themselves, to not set themselves up for failure. If they know that they have a weakness in maybe math, and they should not go into the first class in the first college expecting to take math 444 level classes. They have to understand their strengths, their weaknesses, and how to work with those things. Being proactive, knowing that maybe they're going to need help. Maybe they need to set up time with a professor or an advisor. How to schedule out their homework to make sure that all gets done. How to, schedule their time and their other activities. If they're working or something like that, how on earth are they going to get it all done? They need to be proactive in terms of that, and of standing up for themselves and getting the resources that they need. Perseverance. This is a new challenge, and it's going to be challenging at times. You have to stick with it, and you have to, keep trying. If you give up the first time something goes awry, that's not going to be a very successful student. Goal setting, of course, you don't have to be perfect, but you have your own goals, and, thinking about, do I want to get straight A's? Do I want to make sure I go to every class? What are my goals? What do I need to work on? Being aware of and using social support systems and effective social support systems. So we're talking about finding a good group of friends, or a good study group, or other clubs or organizations, or, who can they talk to if they have questions? The resident advisor in the dorm, if they're living there, whatever it takes to help them. And knowing that not only that they're there, but having the courage to go and ask for help when it's needed, which we know our kids sometimes need help figuring that out. And then finally, a trait that a student needs to succeed is an emotional coping strategy. When things get rough, when you don't feel like persevering anymore or being proactive, and you just want to hide under the covers because things aren't going right, that might not be the best coping strategy. And we all have them. It's just that certain kids need help finding theirs. Is it punching a pillow? Is it going for a walk or working out? Is it my personal favorite coping strategy, and this might sound silly, is I love coloring. I have these like adult coloring books that have really complicated drawings, and I have my whole 120 color colored pencil thing that I can use. And I like to color. It kind of settles me down and turns off my mind when everything gets a little bit too hectic. So whatever it is for your child that will help them cope with an emotional situation, they need to understand that and take advantage of it. So there are accommodations available on the college level and even in work situations. They don't automatically transfer over from high school. Like your IEP doesn't just go to the colleges. It doesn't quite work that way. But if you reach out to them, especially the Office of Disability, and you tell them why you need accommodations or why your child needs accommodations, what they need, and how they can be successful, they will certainly help you with those things. Do your homework, because different schools have different offices of disability, and they're not all created equal. Some of them might have a lot of staff in the Office of Disability. Some colleges might have just one person. Maybe they have a robust program, maybe not so much. So do your homework on that. Know that if you're taking the SAT, ACT, AP exams, college board exams, college courses, any graduate level exams, all of those things, you can still ask for accommodations. You might need to reach out to the company that is proctoring the exam, like the College Board or the AP or Praxis or whatever company is hosting that exam. Find out what their requirements are ahead of time and prepare yourself. Determine what you need or what your student needs and why. They might ask for testing. So if you haven't had any testing done in the past 3 to 5 years, we're talking IQ testing or hearing or vision, depending on what it is that your child needs accommodations with. Make sure you have updated testing to show that they really need that help. You might want to go ahead and get a power of attorney for your child. Now, this is not just for kids who have some sort of intellectual or developmental disability, but for all kids, because for example, my older son went away to college in Chicago, and he's 19, 20, now he's 22 years old living in Chicago. And I have a power of attorney for him because if something happens, if he steps out in front of the L train and gets hit, there's no rule that the hospitals need to let me know about it or need to let me know where he is. So that's why I have a power of attorney. Now, if you have guardianship, I see a question in the chat box, that supersedes a power of attorney. It's kind of all combined. You wouldn't need that. You still might need to have the FERPA form on file, though, and that is a form through the school that your child goes to that tells them that they can release your child's information to you, that your child agrees to having that information released. Okay, so they might need that to be able to talk to you. Generally in college, they don't want to hear from parents. It's not like elementary school, middle school, or high school where they want parent involvement. All of a sudden, your kids have to be more in charge and you have to prepare them for that. Yes, many colleges, it's going to be hard to have guardianship and send your child to college. It can be done, but yeah, we'll get there. Also know that they have to make, especially in the workforce, they have to make a reasonable accommodation if it does not pose undue hardship on the business. So, undue hardship would be like, okay, we want you to put in a ramp. Okay, we can put in a ramp. We want you to renovate your whole 3-story building and add an elevator and do this and that. That might be an undue hardship on the workplace. But you can look at the Department of Labor.gov website, and there is the JAN, Job Accommodation Network. Power of attorney, you don't need to worry about getting a power of attorney until your child turns to a legal adult, which is age 18. Do colleges have assistant programs for special needs? Yes, we're about to get to that. So here is the answer to your question. This is just a list of some of the college programs that are available out there for students who have special needs. Now, this is focused mainly in Texas because that's where we live, but there are programs like this all across the United States. Everything from Houston Community College's VAST program, the College Living Experience program. Austin Community College has a STEPS program. And like I said, when you receive these slides, I hope I hope that all of these links work, but if they don't, please just let me know so I can fix it for next time. So there's, I think, 3 pages of different educational programs. The Nonpareil Institute, South Texas College. A&M has several different programs that they can help with. Lone Star College and their different locations. On page 3, we have UNT in Denton. They have several programs. UT Austin, A&M and Canyon. There are a lot of great programs, and these are meant for kids who have special needs. So definitely check these out. And also, whatever colleges you're considering, contact their Office of Disability and find out what programs they have. There is also this great website. You can search colleges all across the United States using thinkcollege.net. Do they get college credit for some of those programs? They're all different. So you're going to have to look into each program and figure that out. Anyway, Think College will allow you to sort by state, length of the program, type of school, living arrangements, all of that kind of stuff, and look at schools all across the United States. So this would be a great thing to check out if one of these 3 pages of programs isn't enough for you. You can search on thinkcollege.net. If you don't have time to go to Think College and look at all of that stuff, you can call Jody Glau. She has a company called Custom College Consulting. And she doesn't work for us. We don't work for her. It's not like we get a kickback or anything. This is just someone we know who is out in the special needs community helping. Jody can help find the best fit for you in post-secondary education. Her contact info is here. We've also had webinars with other college consultants who can help. The College Spy is one that we've had in the past. She does kind of the same thing, helping you find a school that would be a really good fit for your student. And you can look back in some of our webinars on our YouTube channel to find that particular webinar and that company. Another place you can check is College Living Experience. This is a program that is available at all kinds of different colleges across the United States. They give you individualized guidance and instruction on things like career development, independent living skills, and social development. So you can go to experiencecle.com to learn about this one. And I'm going to tell you again, yes, these slides will be emailed to everybody who registered for this webinar, and all of the links will be clickable. Most of the links will be clickable. So you'll get this information later as long as you registered with your correct email address. Okay, next we have Bloom Consulting. This one is a little bit different. It's not going to help you pick the right school necessarily, but once you pick a school, they can help with either in-person or virtual support for your student. They use a program called the Berkman Method Assessment, where they build an individualized support team for your child, and they help them, they give them a coach who is going to mentor them, give them guidance and navigational support. They can help with things like choosing courses or empowering them to problem solve their concerns and how to have make better choices and self-advocate. Their program does cost about $1,000 a month private pay last time we checked. But if you are doing a program through the VR counselor, which is vocational rehab, which I'm going to get to in a second, if you're going through the Texas Workforce Commission VR program, they might be able to help you pay for this consulting group if it's part of your child's plan for success, okay? Next, the Texas Workforce Solutions program I was just talking about. They offer scholarships for training and education. They want students to be able to find high skill, high growth occupations, and they help train the students to be able to have these kinds of jobs. This is a Texas-wide program. They can help you pay for training, including college courses. And you can click that there's links all over this page, but you can click these links and get more help and sign yourself up. You can find your local higher ability navigator. They typically work or at least partner with high schools, or you can reach out to them directly. So there's the Texas Workforce Solutions. They also offer, here's information about the pre-employment training services. This link will take you right to their website. You can self-refer, sign up for their VR program, vocational rehab. So what they do is they help career exploration, helping your student figure out what they want to do with their lives and what's hot in the job market. Work-based learning programs. They have paid and unpaid internships. They can help set you up on a tour of a job site, job shadowing, a simulated work environment, all of these different kinds of things to help mentor your child. They do have post-secondary education counseling to help determine which educational opportunities match their abilities and their interest, help with enrollment and financial aid options, work readiness, where they learn how to communicate and manage their time better, use money wisely, transportation, all of those kinds of things, and self-advocacy. So again, you can refer yourself for this program, just sign up and get started. And this is for ages, I think, 14 to 22. So as early as 14 years old, they'll start job training. So you're thinking, okay, this is great, but how on earth am I going to afford to pay for college? So we're going to shift the talk now a little bit to that, to being able to pay for all of this stuff. First of all, you need to make sure that you fill out the FAFSA, free application for federal student aid. And I found something that I forgot to update. It used to be October 1st every year that the FAFSA opened up. Now they're doing it in December. If somebody knows exactly when, please put that in the chat box for everybody. But I do know that the FAFSA is going to open in December this year, and I guess going forward. Even if you think that you make too much money and you're not going to get any federal student aid, you need to complete the FAFSA, because colleges use that also for scholarships. And it's not necessarily always just who needs help money-wise, but who needs help, and they look at the FAFSA. So it's just really important to fill that out. You also want to look at community-based scholarships, school-based scholarships. There are scholarships based on band or academics or theater or foreign language club or whatever your student happens to be in. Sports, of course, is a big one. All kinds of scholarships, and we're going to get into that in a moment. But look at the scholarships and understand that they all have different deadlines. They all have different requirements. You might want to set up kind of a spreadsheet for yourself. Which ones do we want to apply for? Which ones have we applied for? Did we fill in everything we need to do? Did my student need to do an essay? How can I make sure my student can write a good essay and have maybe 1 or 3 topics that can kind of be reworked for each different application as needed. But know the deadlines, okay, or else you're going to miss out. You can have a 529 college savings plan. That's a 529C for your student. The money in your 529 college savings plan can only be used for college-related expenses. You could also have an ABLE account, which is another section of the 529 plan, 529A for ABLE. In an ABLE account, if you have somebody, it has to be owned by somebody who has a disability that began before age 26. You can use that money for almost anything. So if it's not certain that your child will go to college or will need all that money for college, it might be better to have an ABLE account where you can use some for college, some for pretty much anything else. And then the vocational rehab program, they can help pay for college courses and other support as long as it is in line with their plan for that individual to find competitive employment. Okay, I do see a question about finding these types of resources in Washington. Rebecca, we do offer help across the whole United States. So we have gathered some information for places and resources in Washington. If you would just reach out to us separately, we can share those with you. But there are some great programs, College Search, like I said, thinkcollege.net, all of that stuff. So a little bit more about ABLE accounts. You can save up to $100,000 in an ABLE account to help your child. Thank you. Well, yes, it still says December 2023. I hope you're all seeing the chat box. There are major changes and improvements coming to the 24-25 FAFSA form. As a result, the new form will be available in December 2023, not October 1st. Thank you very much for posting that information for us. Okay, back to ABLE accounts. So, with an ABLE account, the beneficiary is the account owner. You put money in, they immediately take out a fee to pay for maintenance and to run the account. But then they invest the rest of the money. They're looking for safety and growth in this investment, and the money grows and that income is not taxed. So there's a little bit of a tax benefit there. Unfortunately, your contributions are not deductible on your federal taxes. However, some states do allow a state income tax deduction for your ABLE account contributions. Of course, here in Texas, we don't even have state income tax, so they can't give you a break on that. But an ABLE account is a place where you can save this money, and it does not count against your child for their other benefits. So it won't hurt their SSI or Medicaid or any other public benefits that they can get. There are limits to contributions and distributions, but really what you need to know is that there are ABLE accounts all over the United States. There's at least 49 different ABLE account programs. You do not have to choose the ABLE account for the state that you live in. You can choose any of them. So it's important that you look at the state-specific programs and decide which one would be best for you. We have one that we typically use for our clients. We can set it up for you and do all the paperwork and all of that. What we look at is, what are their investment options? How do they invest your money, and are they wise with your money? What are their fees? What about opening an account and getting your money? Do they make it easy? Do you have to jump through a lot of hoops? So compare those things when you're looking at ABLE accounts. This is, a cute little chart that gives you all of the information about the ABLE account. It has to be a disabled individual who became disabled before the age of 26. Every year you can put in an amount of money that is equal to the gift tax annual exclusion. So for this year, it's $17,000. If your child is working, they can put in more, which is up to $13,590. But again, you never want this account to go over $100,000. We kind of think of this as a save to spend. This is not something you save money in for 30 years. You're putting it aside so that you can use it, hopefully after it's gained at least a little bit of interest to pay off the maintenance fee, of course. You want to at least, but they're making decent interest over the past 10 years. They've been doing pretty good. As long as you use the money for qualified disability expenses, it's not taxable. And ABLE stands for Achieving a Better Life Experience. So really, anything that will help your child achieve a better life experience, it's fine. You can use the ABLE account to pay for that. Again, it's tax-free growth on the investment. You can change your investments up twice a year if you want to. If you have another child who has a disability, you can roll over the money from an ABLE account to another child, but they do have to be eligible. So that means they also have to have a disability. And at death, once your child passes away, if there is money left over in the ABLE account, Medicaid will probably seek reimbursement from the ABLE account. So, we try to spend that down towards the end of the child's life to make sure that there's not too much left over for Medicaid to try and get. And then after Medicaid, you can leave the money to a beneficiary or roll it over to another family member who would be eligible. Okay, I'm going to plow on. I know we're moving fast. We've got a lot of people in here today, a lot of questions, but we'll tell you how to schedule a consultation with us for free so we can answer all your questions. So when you have a special needs trust, there are certain things that you shouldn't use your special needs trust to pay for, because it will reduce the amount of SSI benefit that you get. That's like food and shelter. You don't want to use the trust for cash, groceries, utilities, things like that. But you can use the ABLE account for things like that. And they work really well together, because when you have the ABLE account, as I've just talked about, there are limits to how much money you can put in, but there are less limits on what you can spend the money on. Whereas with the special needs trust, it flips it around. It's kind of the flip-flop. There's no limit on how much money you can put into the special needs trust, but there are limits to what you can use it for. Okay, so let's get to scholarships. This is fun. Again, a lot of links. I hope they all work. Some of these are nationwide scholarship programs and search engines that anyone on this webinar can use. Some of them are going to be focused on the state of Texas. If your child was adopted through the state, there is a state tuition waiver where college is pretty much going to be free. That is through DFPS, the Family and Protective Services whatever. Anyway, if you adopted your child, you can use that very first link to look up state college tuition scholarships. You should ask at your child life specialist at the clinic that you go to, the doctor's office, wherever you take your child. They might have scholarships or a list of things available to you. Then this page goes into all of the different, well, not all, but some different scholarship searches. And when you receive this, these slides later on today, like I said, these should all be clickable. Hopefully they are, hopefully they work and go to the right spot. And if they don't, please just send me a note so I can fix it for next time. All right, if you're in Texas, this one is a biggie, the Terry Scholarship. The Terry Foundation has a scholarship that is a full ride that is available to students who want to go to these colleges that are in the brownish balloon over there, bubble. If you want to go to A&M, UT Austin, University of Houston, any of those schools, you can use a Terry Scholarship to get a full ride. They're looking for leadership potential and character, a decent scholastic record and ability, and some financial need. They do in-person interviews, and they ask for a well-rounded personality, grit, community leadership. And what they get, in addition to their schooling being paid for, you get ongoing student success support, you get alumni networking, and service opportunities. So I mentioned that the founder of our company has 2 special needs kids. One of them was a Terry Scholarship recipient, and she had her entire college education paid for, room and board. So it was really great. And one thing that we've learned about this program is, you can apply to all 11 of these schools and apply for this program at all 11 of those schools. So you kind of have 11 entries. And then let's say that you get into, let's pick one, Texas Tech on a Terry Scholarship. But you really wanted to go to UT Austin, but you didn't get accepted to UT Austin, or you got accepted, but you didn't get the Terry Scholarship at UT Austin. Once you go to Texas Tech for a year, you can transfer schools and still keep your scholarship. So that's just a little behind the scenes tip for you. But this is definitely a great program. Again, for our kids who maybe aren't the top scholar, they really, really look at community service. If your child volunteers a lot, they have meaningful volunteer work, not just, oh, a couple Sundays a year at church, my child helps out, but really thoughtful community service, volunteering with different organizations is a great way to get a scholarship like this. Okay, speaking of scholarships, we have, I think, 5 pages here worth of links. Again, yes, we're going to send you all of this stuff. And I've tried to make sure they all work, but please bear with me if they don't. But there's so many different scholarships. If you have autism or epilepsy, immune deficiencies, cystic fibrosis, bleeding disorders. Page 2 goes on to hemophilia, MS, allergies, asthma, learning disabilities, all kinds of stuff. There are even scholarships for students who have a special needs sibling that you can get. A wheelchair scholarship, medical scrubs, rent a knee walker. I mean, so much stuff. And these are just some that we've pooled. We want you to focus on the higher dollar amounts. Don't spend a ton of time on $50 scholarships. That's just not worth it. But like I said, keep a list of what the deadlines are. Have your child write several great essays and then tweak them to fit whatever the scholarship is looking for. There's National Federation for the Blind, Blind Veterans Association, Disabled Scholar Award. We're on page 5 now. Health products for you. If you have a child who is interested in law school, just all kinds of stuff. So definitely check these out, and all the other scholarships that are out there. So these are 3 books. I've got about 10 minutes left, so I think we're going to make it. These are 3 books that you might want to consider as you're going into the journey of thinking about college and what comes after high school. Colleges That Change Lives. It's a great book. There's one, The Guide to Colleges for Students with Learning Disabilities, and the Fisk Guide to Colleges. These are some good resources to consider. One thing that you might want to think about, most people just automatically think that a public state school is going to be way less expensive than a private college. And, that's kind of true when you look at it in black and white, when you look at the cost of attendance for a private school versus a public state-run school. However, what people don't realize is that private schools are much smaller, which means smaller class sizes and more individualized attention for your student. They also have a lot more scholarship money from all of their alumni, and they are able to give out often so much scholarship money that it would bring the price from here down to about the same price as a public state school. Now, the public schools, state-run schools, have way, way, way more people, way larger class sizes, way more people applying for the limited scholarships they have, and it's less likely that your child will get a scholarship. So consider those options. Don't automatically rule out private schools. And another thing that many people don't know is that when you are applying to schools, you're going to apply, you're going to fill out the FAFSA. The school is going to, after they accept your child, because all of your children are brilliant and they're going to get accepted wherever they want to go. After they accept your child, they send you an award letter. The award letter will list out scholarships, federal grants, student loans, all of how you're going to pay for this and what your expected contribution is. When you get that letter, sometimes if you write back to the person in the financial aid office or whoever you've been working with and you say, this is great, we're so close, we really want to go to your school, but can we get a little more? Or our financial situation has changed since we filled out the FAFSA. Or in my case, there were 2 or 3 different schools that my son was looking at. He really wanted to go to Columbia College in Chicago, but another school offered him better scholarships. So we wrote back to Columbia and we said, please, 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 we love your school. We appreciate the financial aid you're giving us, but if you could just do a little bit more. And they did. So you never know. It doesn't hurt to ask. The worst that they can do is say no, right? So, oops, wrong way. Okay. So we are towards the end. This is a great time to get any last minute questions, or if I've missed one of your questions, into the chat box as I wrap up here.
We have a question, Michelle, very quickly.
Okay.
The DFS scholarships cover dorms? I think that's for when you have adopted a child. Do you know?
It's it does say tuition. I'm not sure if they also cover room and board, but like I said, you'll have that link and you'll be able to get all of the information from that link. I really hope you have enjoyed today's webinar. We do webinars 2, 3, 4 times a week. And these are some of the topics that we cover and things that you need to be thinking about for your children. The future cost of care, making sure you're signed up for the waiver programs. I've heard that the wait list is like 20 years now for waiver services. SSI and SSDI and what the difference is and which one you should be applying for. ABLE accounts, designating beneficiaries, special needs trusts, residential living communities. There could be a wait list, so you need to get on those. Guardianship. If you think that guardianship is in your future, you're going to need an attorney to help you set that up. We can refer you to one. And you can start that process when you're about 6 months out from your child's 18th birthday. And then, of course, like today's webinar, post-high school educational options, we talk about a lot. This link on this page will take you to our website. We have an events tab where we list out all of our upcoming webinars. So you can get that information about our upcoming webinars by clicking this link. This is our team. Like I said, we're based just outside of Houston. Allison and Jeff are a married couple, and then there's my glamour shot and my cute husband with a big old beard. We're truly an independent firm. We're not tied to working with any large company. When you call us, you're literally like calling our house or our cell phones. Waivers. So like I said,
Waivers and also Texas veteran benefits. I think we didn't answer that question, if they can be used for college funds.
Okay, so I'm seeing the questions, how do we apply for the waiver? That is a little bit more than we can go in today. You can email me or set up a meeting with my company. Let me just flip to that screen. There we go. And we have done webinars about the waiver programs. Now, as far as veterans benefits, I have not heard of any veterans benefits that will help pay for college. But, you know, definitely another place that you can check into. They might offer scholarships, or there might be scholarships, you know, for children of a veteran that are not through necessarily government benefits.
We here in Texas, we have 7 waivers that you can apply, and that can go through LIDA. We can give you that information later on, how to be on those lists. If you're here in Texas, please call your LIDA office to put you in the list. Houston, yes, in all Texas.
Yeah, so your LIDA, your local intellectual and developmental disability authority, can help you get signed up for the waiver programs. There is also an 877 number that you call to get on the list here in Texas. It's 877. I'm putting it into the chat, 438-5658. That is for class, DBMD, and MDCP, medically dependent children. So those are some of the waiver programs you can get on by calling that phone number. Otherwise, contact your local authority, which would be like Bluebonnet, Harris Center, MHMR, things like that.
Here in Travis County, you're in Austin, Travis County is Integral Care. If you're in Williamson County, it could be Bluebonnet Trails. And you're in another county, we can figure it out. And we have a link when you put your zip code, and they'll link you to the LIDA office information close to you.
Perfect. So let me tell you quickly about our free consultation. Let's be honest, you signed up for this webinar with your name and phone number and email. We are going to reach out to you from Consolidated Planning Group. And look at these smiling faces. You don't want to be mean to them, but we are calling to see, do you want to set up your free consultation? This is typically 30 to 45 minutes over Zoom. Our first order of business is to answer any questions that you have. You get to just pick our brains. We'll tell you as much as we can. We get to know you a little bit and your family and what's going on with you. And then we tell you about us, how we work, what we charge, what we do exactly, and how we can help you. So again, it's completely free, completely confidential, customized to you because we are answering your questions. And we're not pushy, I promise. The only thing that we keep calling for is to get an answer. You just have to say yes or no. You can also follow us on our, these are links down here as well. The YouTube channel, that's where we put all of these webinars after they're finished. The Instagram, Facebook, and our podcast. Again, you can listen if it's easier for you just to listen to a podcast rather than watching the webinars.
And thank you, Jamie, for helping Jerry. They say
Yes.
that they can reach the Texas Veteran Commission about the
Hazelwood
benefit.
Perfect.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that.
All right. Well, if I didn't get to your question, again, please feel free just to reach out to us. It's the consultation is, like I said, it's painless. We don't bite. Please feel free to reach out to us. Our goal is to help you, and we're here for you. And I really appreciate you all being here for me today and watching this webinar, spending your lunch hour with us.
Thank you,
Veronica,
Michelle, for all the
you.
information. Awesome presentation. And guys, we are going to send you an email with this presentation with all the links. We are going to send you also a link for the YouTube channels with the video recording. If you miss something or want to hear it again or something like that, it's also going to be on your email later on. Please help us fill out the evaluation link also that you are going to receive. And thank you so much, and see you everybody else. In the next one, in the next presentation. Thank you so much. Have a great afternoon, everybody.
I do see, yes, we help families all across the United States. We're going to send you this recording. The
recording and the slides and an email. Yeah. And if you want to do a consultation, the people from CPG will also reach out to you. Thank you so much, guys. See you next week.
Thank you, everybody.